no promotion's guaranteed. So they can promise it to you and it won't happen in 6 months or a year. But that's because the person who's promising it to you is just like has a carrot and just wants you to stay.
Welcome to Women Changing Leadership. I am your host, Stacy Mayer, and I teach you how to get promoted, get paid, and bring your whole self to the leadership table. I am on a mission to change organizations from the C-suite out because women are the new face of leadership, and we are doing it on our terms.
Hello, corporate badasses. Welcome to another episode of Women Changing Leadership. I'm your host, Stacy Mayer, and super excited, as always, to be here with you again this week. I am so excited for today's guest. As you know, I live out in the Bay Area, Berkeley, California. And when I first started coaching in my business, there were a couple of women that were doing really incredible work. And over the past decade, I've had the opportunity of working with them, hiring them as coaches, hiring them as peers, meaning one of these women, I would show up to her yoga class every single week in Walnut Creek. And it wasn't really a yoga class. It was a spiritual journey with journals. And they were 3-4 hours long. And we would collaborate as women and talk about our businesses. And today's guest is actually one of those women that I have seen pop up. And it's like, you know, when you see somebody on social media, when you've seen her books, you feel like you know her. But I really do feel like I know her because I understand the journey, especially being out here on the West Coast, where we as women are incredibly powerful, high-performing, high-achiever women, yet we have this profound desire and spirituality to do it our way or to connect or to make sure that we're not just focused on success as, you know, the way that traditional way that we grew up, but really kind of making sure that we bring everything along with us. And I think Amy is one of those beautiful women. And it's funny because, like I said, I feel like I've known her forever. And today is the first time I've ever actually met you. So I'm grateful for that. Hello, Amy. Thanks so much for being here.
Hello. It's so nice to be here. And I just love connecting with amazing, badass women like you that are Bay Area women as well. So
yes,
thanks
exactly.
for having me. Thanks for the invitation.
Amy Ahlers is an executive and leadership coach who specializes in coaching women who are being way too hard on themselves to make their brightest contribution and create success on their own terms. She speaks on stages at places like Google, Charles Schwab, and Oracle, and is mom to 2 daughters, 2 best-selling books, and 1 rescue mutt. I love it. It's fantastic.
The Augie doggy has to have his moment of fame. So there you go.
Oh my God. Amazing. Well, we talked about, or I talked at the beginning about balancing that idea of traditional success with spiritual success and like who we are as a woman and what we want to stand for. And, but I have a question I ask all my podcast guests as we start out, which is just what have been some of your personal secrets to success?
I love this question so much because it has, I hope all of you that are listening right now are really looking at what are my secrets to success. But I think the biggest secret to success for me has been tuning into what I call my inner wisdom, that voice of truth inside of me, and really allowing her to be in the driver's seat of my life. Because we all have fear, we all have inner critics, which is a huge part of my work and the way that I work with women leaders. My books, I always say, are love letters to women that are hard on themselves. And it really is about clearing out that voice of the inner critic or the inner mean girl, as I call her, and saying, okay, you get to be in the car. You're a part of me, of course, but you don't get to be in the driver's seat of my life. And so for me, I have a daily practice where I tune into my inner wisdom every morning. It is a non-negotiable for me at this point. And really allowing her to be the guide and then the driver's seat has been the biggest thing. And then looking at what are the things that are lighting me up? Like when there's a decision to be made. Do you remember that game, Stacy, when you were a kid where someone would hide something and then you'd be like walking around and they go, okay, warmer, colder, colder. And then it'd be like warmer, warmer. You're about to find it, right? Like just feeling in our bodies like when there's that decision, is this warmer, or is it colder, am I leaning into that role that where I'm going to be lit up, where it feels like warmer, warmer? Is this yoga class is that a warmer thing? Or is going on a hike a warmer thing? Like really paying attention to our body and the embodiment of that barometer. And then leaning in towards the things that are lighting me up, that feel like that warmer, hot. And same thing with people in our lives. Is that something that feels like it's expanding and warmer? Or do I feel contracted when I'm around that person? And actually paying attention and letting that be the thing that has us go, okay, that is what success is for me. When I feel expansive, when I feel like life is warmer, hot, and where my inner wisdom is in charge.
Yeah, this is so good. I'm thinking I want to share this story. It's a little vulnerable now, but I didn't realize that I had these like more contracted states and like maybe as you would call like this inner mean girl. And so when I was in college, I was very confused about this intuition or this voice. So there's this example I had in my freshman year in Michigan. I had a roommate in my dorm and she would print quotes like, love yourself as you love your children or something.
Right.
And I was like,
right.
You're like 18 years old and there's like pieces of paper all over the room. And I was like, please, this is ridiculous. And I was so mad and annoyed and I literally could not stand this girl like at all. Like the whole time we were in college, I could not stand her. And I realized at some point when I was sitting on a cushion in meditation or whatever that I was arguing with myself. And then these flashes of moments in time. And at that time, if you said to me what you just said, follow your light or your what lights you up.
Yeah.
What lit me up back then was like, go and forget. Like, I'm fine. Everything's fine. Like, literally, I'd be like, I'm great. Everything's great. I don't need something to tell me to feel better. Like, I feel great. I really genuinely believed that I felt great. And I was like, go, fight. I'll pause for a second, see what kind of comes up for you there. But it's like, this has been the path, to figure out who that voice is and what is the guiding voice. Because back then it felt much like push. It was like, if I don't push, if I don't ignore like these things that say, you're wonderful. Like I was like pushing it out because I was like, I'm fine.
Right.
Everything's fine.
Right. Well, it's interesting because, in my books and when I speak, I talk a lot about that we have inner critic archetypes.
Okay.
At Inner Mean Girl Reform School, which was a program I ran for years, which my second book, Reform Your Inner Mean Girl, is based on that program. And we discovered 13 different inner mean girl archetypes. And so what I feel like you're talking about is a sneaky inner mean girl archetype. Mm-hmm. And so there's kind of two that are kind of cousins, I would say. One is the achievement junkie inner mean girl archetype. And she is that inner mean girl. She's sneaky because she's the one that's like, achieve. And when I work with women leaders inside some of the biggest companies in the world in the Silicon Valley, which most of my clients work at companies in the Silicon Valley, and they're like, oh, well, no, but the achievement. And I'm like, the achievement is not the problem. I get it.
Yeah.
We're high achieving women here, right?
Yeah.
It's the junkie part. That's the problem.
Okay.
It's that part of you that says, achieve no matter what the cost is. I am going to achieve, like the achievement junkie is the one that's like, okay, you're about to cross the finish line, and then she moves it another mile.
Oh,
right? You're like, I'm going to cross the finish line, I'm about to, and then she's like, psych, moving another mile. Doesn't ever let you celebrate. Is like, it doesn't matter, health be damned, body be damned, relationships, who cares? She has the one sacrificing all of the things that are really meaningful in life in order to get that achievement. And then if you finally do cross that finish line, she doesn't let you celebrate. She's just on to the next achievement.
Yeah. I love this analogy of moving the finish line. I mean, I do this in my business all the time. I'll have like a huge win and a big, event and all these women come. And then I'm like, but what next? What's next?
Right.
And the achievement is not the problem.
Right.
It's the junkie. And for the women that I work for, they make this switch and they say the achievement was the problem, right? So then,
Right.
I get a little, I question, at least. I'm not going to
Yes.
be you do you and whatever you want, but I question when somebody's like, I just got offered this huge role at Apple and I'm not going to take it because, and I'm like, okay, like that's fine. And
Yes.
can we have both? Can we have achievement without, and I like this word junkie, like without the junkie part of it.
Yeah, without that addiction element.
Yes.
Where it's like it's always about the addiction and the hit of the addiction and the dopamine rush of that, but it's not grounded. And so what I work with a lot of women on is, well, where's the healthy ambition?
Yes.
Because we need ambitious, high-achieving women in the world now more than ever, let's be clear.
Yes.
Right? But we need it to come from a healthy versus a toxic place.
Right. And I want that. I mean, I have no idea if this woman's choosing where she's choosing Apple or not Apple for him. But
Right.
I want the choice to be made from this place in your head that's saying, oh, actually, this environment does not work for me. And I'm very clear about that. And I'm also willing to continue to achieve, but figure out how to do it myself, or on my own terms or whatever that might be.
I love that. That's exactly how I talk about it, is like having that success and doing that role on your own terms. And I see it all the time when I'm working, especially with women leaders, where they look above them at, let's say that they're trying to get, well, at Google, there's, the whole like L4, L5 system, what have you. And maybe they're trying to get from that L7 to the director level, for example, or they're trying to get to the VP level or what have you. And they look above them and they look at all the people and nobody looks like them. Meaning, especially if they're a woman of color. Nobody really looks like them. So there's that issue where they don't see themselves reflected there. So it feels like, ugh. And then everybody that is there is kind of an asshole, excuse my language, but it's like, I don't really like those people.
Right.
And additionally, I don't want to have that lifestyle. That person's working 16-hour days all the time and totally burning out. And I'm like, okay, I got it. Yeah, I don't want you to have that toxic either. But how can the only way this is going to change is if more women, especially women of color, are getting to that next level.
Yes, exactly.
Right? Any marginalized group is getting to that next level and saying, guess what? I'm going to have this look differently. Guess what? I'm going to do this on my own terms. I'm going to stay in alignment with my values. I'm going to model logging off of work and having a life outside of work where I see my kids, I see my family, I see my partner, whatever it is. And then I'm going to tell my team members and the people that I'm managing, do not email me at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And P.S. And by the way, don't you be sneaky and be doing it at 2 a.m. and just schedule it so that it gets to me at 9 a.m. I'm on to you people, right? Like because the burnout that is happening at these companies it's nuts.
I had a woman who was recently promoted to SVP of Global Executive Sales in semiconductors, right? So she had an employee that she fought for a promotion, and they were saying, well, it's really difficult because we're not going to change her scope, right? So it's hard to give her a promotion without changing her scope. And she's like, no, she's been doing this scope for a while, which is above her pay grade and her, title. And, and so this is like this balance. But what I was just so proud of her. And I will say, long story short, this woman was not given the promotion at the time, but my client's ability to talk and to go to the CEO and say, this is not okay. And you're creating a culture that this is not going to work. This doesn't work for me. And it also it's not okay. Was just so I was like, this is the change, right? This is the change that she is able to make and do by having a position of influence. Like she has the door open, she's able, and they're hearing her, right?
Yes.
And so then, and but in 3 months, you better figure out how to get her promoted, right? Like, it's like, and, right? Which is very different than when I tell my clients, like, no promotion's guaranteed. So they can promise it to you and it won't happen in 6 months or a year. But that's because the person who's promising it to you is just like has a carrot and just wants you to stay, right? Versus a person like my client who's like, no, I'm working on it, trust me. And that's a real trust, right? Like a real connection. So yeah.
Well, and advocacy is so important.
Right.
And so for everyone listening, who are you advocating for? First and foremost, you got to advocate for yourself. But who are the people that you're managing right now that you can be a stronger advocate for? Because you need more women advocating for more women. And it's that whole competitive landscape that, I'm a Gen Xer. I mean, it was like, there was only room for one woman on the board. There was only room for 100%. One woman at the director level or one woman.
Right.
And so there really was this competitive thing. And where I had so many clients, I've been coaching for a couple decades now, who were like, oh, the worst boss I ever had was another woman. And because of this competitive, toxic landscape of like women having to fend off other women to say, there's only room for one of us and it's me.
Right.
And now it's like, let's shift this, ladies.
Yeah.
To say, not only is there room for me, but I'm going to be pulling and advocating and mentoring the women that are at the levels below me so that we can create it so that we're 50% of the board, so that we're 70% of the board.
Right.
So that we absolutely are ruling this place.
Yes.
Because we need to be doing that. And so it's only going to happen by women helping other women and changing that competitive mindset.
Right. Oh my God. And it starts within ourselves. So I want to talk a little bit more about these archetypes of inner mean girl critics, because I think that they must all be sneaky because we self-identify. I mean, it's not like I walk around going, wow, I'm really terrible. Like I really, I mean, sometimes my voice tells me that, but overall, I think I'm doing pretty good. I got to figure it out. I know how to follow my intuition. I'm making good choices, whatever that might be. And so I feel like they must all be sneaky. Would you be willing to share perhaps your own inner mean girl or what some of your story is?
Sure. Well, what I was going to say is when I'm on stages a lot, I'll kind of go over 4 different archetypes, and 2 are really sneaky and 2 are very obvious. So let me do it this way.
Okay, do it.
So 2 that are very obvious, and I know people listening. So see which one of these 4 you relate to the most. So we already talked about the achievement junkie, right? So that's that inner critic that always is moving the finish line, never lets you celebrate, has you achieving no matter what it costs you. Okay, there's that one. Then there's one that's much more obvious, which is, I like to call it the comparison queen. So she is the one that loves to compare your worst to everybody else's best. She's the one that has you scrolling through social media being like, why doesn't my life look like that? She is the one that has, you have someone in the office that just got the promotion and you just go home feeling like crap about yourself.
Yeah.
Right? The comparison queen. Very obvious. And then there's another one that's very common, especially in the corporate sector, which is the perfectionist. She says, if it's not perfect, it's not worth it. She also has you saying, well, it's never going to be perfect, so why even bother trying? Right? That perfectionist procrastination relationship. So there's that one. And then there's another sneaky one. That's the good girl, inner mean girl archetype. So she's the people pleaser. She's the one that has you saying, okay, you have to do what's right, even if it's not right for you. She has you saying yes when you really want to say no. So there's kind of those 4. There's the achievement junkie, inner mean girl archetype, the comparison queen, the perfectionist, and of course, the good girl. So all of you listening, which one of those, and if you have all 4, I get it, you can raise your hand too, right? We all kind of have a combination of those. But I'm curious for you, Stacy, which one of those is the most prevalent in your life?
Oh, definitely the achievement junkie. And when you were talking, I was thinking about, maybe another sneaky part is that I'm constantly failing. So you talk about this, like when you are moving the goalposts, that basically is like, I'm just very comfortable failing. I remember someone telling me once, like, if you're going to be successful, you have to be comfortable failing. I'm like, well, I'm comfortable failing because I fail every day. And then I really realized that they weren't talking about it that way. Like that's not actually what was meant, which is
Yes.
that you can make it to the finish line, right?
Yes.
And if you don't, it's okay. That is a
Yeah.
very different category of comfortable failing than this belief. It's so sad. I'm always failing. I'm
Yes.
always a little bit behind. I'm all,
Right.
this is a
Right.
very vulnerable episode, Amy.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. I totally get that. And I think that it's so important to like, here's my homework assignment I have for you, Stacy,
Okay.
and any of
Sounds
you that
good.
are like that achievement junkie thing. I really want you to celebrate. I want you to make a list of 3 things that you're really proud of yourself for, that
Uh-huh.
you've accomplished, and
Uh-huh.
then go and celebrate it. Whether you go get a
Uh,
mani-pedi, or you go out to dinner with your beloved, or you
uh-huh.
go on a hike and just say, "I'm amazing, I'm celebrating." Like, allow yourself, and the next time something good happens, don't just jump to the next thing.
Uh-huh.
Actually take the time to celebrate.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Take in the view when you
Uh-huh.
are at the top of the mountain in your hike, right?
Uh-huh.
So whether a real hike or a
Uh-huh.
metaphorically you achieved that
Uh-huh.
thing. I mean, you've done what, over 300 episodes of this podcast?
Yeah.
When was the last time you celebrated, "Hey, I'm hit this milestone on my
Yeah.
podcast.
Well, not
I
only
got this."
that, but I recently did episode 301 and I said, "Oh, oops, I forgot to celebrate." So episode
Typical,
301
typical.
was an oops. You've got
Right.
me pegged.
Totally, totally. So all of you with that achievement junkie, inner mean girl archetype, absolutely please go out
Yeah.
and celebrate,
Yeah.
right? And it's so important. And if you have the good girl, inner mean girl archetype, that
Yeah.
people pleasing type thing, what I want you to do, and this is kind of an instant deactivator tool, is what I like to call it. I want you to practice saying no, and you can do it in a very low risk way where you or like when your partner says to you, "Well, what do you want for dinner tonight?" Actually
I
say
tell
what you
them.
want for dinner.
Yeah.
And I know it seems like such a small thing, but you're practicing, you're building that
Mhm.
muscle of
Mhm.
having your opinion matter and your needs matter.
Yeah.
And a trick around this is if you are someone that's kind of a yes person, you're always like someone says something, is to just say, "Oh, thank you so much. Let me get back to you on that."
Mhm.
Because that knee jerk, that good girl is gonna be like, "Yes,
Yeah.
of
Yes.
course."
Yes, of
But it's
course.
like actually just
Yeah.
giving yourself a moment to then go into your
Mhm.
inner wisdom, that
Yeah.
voice of truth, and be like, "Is this aligned for me right now?"
Yeah.
And and if you have that good girl running the show as a manager,
Yeah.
it can really get you into trouble because suddenly you're taking on all these projects for you and your team that
Yeah.
really aren't aligned for you and your team to be taking on because you just wanna be a good soldier and say yes. And
Yeah.
it's like, ugh, like having that discernment is so important.
There'll be a half a second pause of, like, somebody giving me a dirty look, like, when I'm coaching, but, one way
Yeah,
that I'm able to help clients identify this is I'm like, "I
yeah.
don't think your boss likes you that much." And, and so what I mean by this is, like, look at their act I know, right? It's hot, right? It's like, "Woo, woo," and then but they're like, "Oh," and I'm like, "You're spending so much energy pleasing this person who literally, like, would just, like, drop you in a half a second." And so
Right.
when you start to realize, like, who are the people that were, like, really pleasing, and then a lot of my clients will turn to their team and be like, "I'm happy pleasing them." Like, they're amazing, and and actually that might be great. Like, do
Right.
that. But, like,
Right.
why are we spending all this energy pleasing the people who kind of don't actually care about us? And so that's why, like, that hot moment, that hot flash, you're like, "Oh!"
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
but we have to know it's not just because, Amy told you to set boundaries. Like, I think that's where it gets hard. It's like, well, I read in a book or I saw in a video that
Right.
I should set boundaries. It's like, no,
Yeah.
actually, just like maybe look and see like who are the people that we're pleasing and spending our time with. And, yeah, it's amazing. Like this is
I love
all
that I love that so much. I think what you said is so powerful because for me, definitely, when you said that, I definitely have the good girl, inner mean girl archetype. I was raised, so many of us were conditioned to say please and thank you and hug this person even if you didn't feel comfortable doing it, right? Like to override our intuition, to override our inner wisdom, and to not follow our own truth because we needed to be polite and be a good girl. And so the likability thing, it reminds me, in the coaching world, one of the things we talk about is what you can't be with runs you. It's a very common coaching expression. What you can't be with runs you. So if what you can't be with is people not liking you, then that is at the center of your life. You are doing this dance around, I just have to
Wow.
make sure that everybody
Yes,
likes
yes,
me.
yes, yes.
Right? And so being with, and I remember when I was at coaching school forever ago, and they were actually doing it in person, which was amazing, versus everything's so online now. But one of the things we had to do is then figure out what the thing was that we couldn't be with. So if we couldn't be with anger, we would have to wear a name tag that said anger and just be with it all day long during the workshop. And so if you couldn't be with people not liking you, like nobody likes me, you would have to wear that name tag and be with it. If you couldn't be with not being special, then you would have to wear a name tag that said not special and just be with that.
Yeah, just be
And
with
it
it.
was profound. So if you have that good girl thing running, right? Like what you said, like, well, maybe that person just doesn't like me. And if that feels like torture to you.
Torture, yes. And can you be okay with that? Because I'm always saying, and don't quit. That doesn't mean quit. Like it just like, can you be with that? Right? Like, is that okay? Right? Oh, that's brilliant. I'm thinking about my, and you have 2 daughters as well. And my daughter is 10. And if I feel the transitions happening in real time and stuff. And there was this thing that happened this weekend. And so so this woman comes up to me and my daughter's there and she, oh my God, it's good to see you again and this and that. And she's just going on. And I was like, wow. And she's like, you cut your hair. I'm like, literally, there is no way I know this woman at all. Like no way in the world. Like the person, like the location, the person, this is not even like maybe someone I knew at some point. Right. And my daughter's just like, okay. And we walked away and I was like, I didn't know her. And she's like, oh, why did you do that then? Why didn't you just say no? Like, I don't know you. And that's what my 10-year-old would do. Yeah. And I was like, and my old self would have actually just had done all of the jump around. And I was like, wow, thanks, with my hair. And then I just walk away and I'm like, okay, that was fake, but whatever. But I enjoyed having a conversation with her because I actually asked myself why I did that. And I was like, because it doesn't matter. And I was like, it doesn't matter. And I was like, this woman wanted to know me and it was fine. And I was like, and sometimes it's not that I said, I don't feel like I was being fake. I just was like, okay, I didn't overindulge. I didn't create some new problem. And one of the challenges that she has is she'll say everything that's on her mind and, and then people are very like, well, I don't like her or whatever, and so I'm curious, like raising daughters and things like that, like this balance of wanting to say, well, I didn't do that maybe I did do it to please this person, but I was very aware of my choice, I guess. It wasn't,
Yeah, no, I get it. Well, and also, like you said, it didn't cost you anything to just be gracious in that moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You weren't doing it because you wanted her to like you. You weren't doing it to be fake. You were just trying to give this person some grace that had clearly mistaken you for somebody else, right? And so having your daughter and our daughters understand that discernment of like, when can I just give someone grace versus when am I overriding my truth and what's important for me? And I think especially, being raised myself as someone that was supposed to be polite and do that no matter what the cost was, be that good girl no matter what the cost was.
Yeah.
That is very different. And then also, I want to have my kids say please and thank you. But guess what? If they don't feel comfortable hugging someone, too bad.
That's okay too.
Right. And given the world that we're living in, it's like, you knowing your body, your choice.
Yeah.
You don't want to so I would always say when my girls were little, I'd be like, how do you want to say hi to so-and-so?
Uh-huh.
So that they were empowered. Do you want to do a fist bump? Do you want to do a handshake?
Yes.
Do you want to
Oh, I
wave
love
hi
that.
while holding my leg? Like,
But
what
we're
feels
going to
safe
say
to you?
hi.
That's
But
right.
we're going to say hi. Like, that's the
That's
part that
exactly.
it's not like,
That's
how do
right.
you want to say hi, which is roll your eyes and walk away.
Right.
No.
Right.
Like,
Right.
you're going to say
Exactly.
hi, but you get to choose
Exactly.
within that. I love
That's
that.
right. That's right. Exactly. So it's like, here's the parameters of
Yeah.
politeness that I'm going to be teaching my children. And yeah, we're going to
Uh-huh.
say thank you. And we're going to
Yeah.
look the food server in the eye and give our order. And we're going to say, may I please have, right? We're going to say those things because that's not costing us our truth. And if my kids were feeling particularly shy that day, of course, I'll do the order for them when they were younger.
Yeah.
But I like having, my oldest is 18, my youngest is almost 12. And so I want them to be able to go out in the world and look strangers in the eye and say hello and actually be a human being in the world. And if they're having a really bad day and their period and they're this and they're that or whatever, of course I've got their back. But
Right.
I want us to be raising humans that can look at people and understand that every single person that we run into, whether it's the barista or the food server or the person, well, I was going to say taking the bridge toll, but of course that's all automated now. But it's like, whatever in the world where we're like saying, I'm human, you're human. I'm seeing you in the world. We need more
Yeah.
of that. We need
Oh,
more of that.
so
Yeah.
good. Oh, Amy, this has been such an amazing conversation. I have another question for you that I just like to bookend all of my conversations with, which is, why do you personally feel motivated to have and not just a seat at the table, but a voice? Why does it matter?
Oh gosh, I've got chills when you ask
I know
that
we've talked
question.
about it a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, with what's going on in the world right now, especially with the Epstein files and seeing the profound ugliness and cost that toxic masculinity, the systems of the patriarchy, and when I say those things, I love men. I was
Mhm.
raised by an amazing one. I was married to one that was amazing. My kid's father is incredible, right? Like, there are so many beautiful, amazing, kind-hearted men in
Mhm.
the world. And so when we talk about the systems, when we
Right.
talk about the patriarchy, that's not saying I hate men. That's saying the systems of toxic masculinity, the systems of toxicity are currently in basically every leadership position here in the
Right.
US and often in the world. And so I can't think of a more important time
Uh-huh.
for women to have seats at the table and to be using their voices, even when they're shaken in their boots, to actually change the systems so that all people, especially marginalized communities, can actually be able to be in leadership positions so that we can change what is happening on the toxicity of the planet. We are living in such a toxic time,
Uh-huh.
and we always have been, right?
Uh-huh.
It's just there's better cameras than there
Uh-huh.
were 20
Uh-huh.
years ago, 100 years ago, to hundreds of years
Uh-huh.
ago. So we are at a time of a reckoning where
Uh-huh.
so much ugliness, we're seeing the truth of that. And the only way we're going to get out of this is by having healthy women
Uh-huh.
and people of all colors, all creeds, all genders in positions of power so that we can actually create a safe and healthy planet for generations to come. So it is
Mhm.
more important than ever.
Ah, Amy Ahlers, thank you so, so much. Yes, we
Sure.
need you and each of you listening. I always say, if you want to change the leadership table, it starts with your next promotion, right?
That's
This
right.
is part of it.
Yes.
It's one of us, each one of us sitting in our power and our truth and not as a junkie, not as an
That's right.
achievement junkie, but
Yes,
because
that's
it's
right.
needed and it's because it's
That's
I
right.
use the term it's our birthright, right? It's who we
That's
are
right.
and that
100%.
voice needs to be heard. So, how
Yeah.
do people follow you, connect with you, all the
Yeah,
things?
so my website's amyahlers.com. Would love to welcome you over there. I have an imposter syndrome quiz that's
Oh,
there, which they're on my website that you can take to get started. And I'm at Amy Ahlers Coach on Instagram. And I don't even know, do we give out Facebook anymore? I don't know, but I am at facebook.com/Amy Ahlers coach. And Amy Ahlers is my personal profile. You can follow me there too. But those are kind of the predominant channels that I'm on these days. I'm also on LinkedIn, of course, as well. So there you have it. Would love to welcome any members
I've been
of the community.
following you for years and really enjoying your wisdom and your work. And it's very impactful. So thank you for sharing it with my audience today. I appreciate you. And I can't wait to see what happens over the next decade for both of us.
Yes, that sounds great. And thank you so much for the work that you're doing in the world and for raising women's voices and helping women really rise up in a way that where they get to stay aligned with their values. It's so important. So thank you.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to Women Changing Leadership with Stacy Mayer. If you enjoyed this episode, you are absolutely going to love and benefit from the work that we're doing inside of the Women's Leadership Accelerator. This month-to-month membership program is unlike anything else in the market. We are single-handedly flipping the unemployment rates on their head. It is the only place on the internet where you can actually get yourself not only a job offer, but one that has a higher salary, a higher title, and more recognition and influence than you ever could have imagined in your career. Inside the Women's Leadership Accelerator, we are getting women promoted. We are getting them multiple higher level job offers. And I want that to happen for you. Join us in this one-of-a-kind program. You're going to get coaching directly from me, my executive mentors who are also hiring managers who are doing the work, who have worked with me personally for the past 3 to 5 years. We are here inside of this accelerator program to work with you personally to begin to elevate your leadership to that next level. This is exactly what you have been looking for, and I am here to deliver it to you. Best thing, it's month to month. So you can come in, join us, get access to all of my training materials, my weekly live interactive calls, and you can begin to bring your friends into this community. It is the most corporate badass community on the market. I can't wait to see you in there. Go to authenticallypowerfulwomen.com. We are changing the face of the leadership table one promotion at a time. I can't wait to see you there.